Hey guys, welcome to Movie Reviews, which is first impressions right after we see a film. Up next is Legend of Tarzan. Now, this is one where the trailers have been in theaters for a little while, and I got curious. It looked like an epic. And I thought that this might be a pretty good telling of Tarzan. We've seen some successful jungle movies of animals in live action combined together with CGI animals in live action in Jungle Book, done very well. So I was encouraged that perhaps Tarzan is capitalizing off that and can do the same thing. So, Legend of Tarzan, directed by David Yates, who also did...
Harry Potter!
Joe's a huge Harry Potter fan, so he knew that. And the main stars are Alexander Skarsgård. I don't know how to say his last. Alexander is playing Tarzan.
That guy
and we
is
have,
huge.
Yeah, he was fucking cut
like
as hell.
6'5" or something.
Yeah, his body is crazy. I mean, that's goals.
Oh yes.
Goals.
Whenever he came out shirtless, all I heard was
casted really
whoa.
What the hell?
I heard whoa. When I
That
looked
girl,
over,
the girl next to me was laughing
you.
at me because I said whoa.
Whoa.
Anyways, and we, I'd seen the trailers, but I guess I blocked it out because I did not expect Margaret Robbie in this film.
I completely forgot
Yeah,
about that.
Jane as Jane. So the hottest blonde right now. Not only the hottest blonde, but the hottest in Hollywood.
Yeah,
She's hot right
pretty
now.
hot.
She's trending.
She's hot right
She's
now.
trending right
She's
now.
trending upwards. And you have Samuel L. Jackson. I didn't know Samuel L. Jackson
That
was
guy's
going
great
to be
in
in this.
everything.
He was great in
And he really is awesome here. He gives this film the much needed levity and comedy.
He's a great sidekick. I really
Great
like him.
sidekick.
Yep.
He plays an American character who seems to be an envoy from the United States, checking in on the activities of Belgium, because back in 1886 or 1888, one of those, they divided it all up, and the king of Belgium got the Congo, and his plan is to exploit its resources. And so he sends his most trusted advisor, Leon Rom, who, surprisingly, another actor, really good actor, I did not expect in this film, Christopher Waltz.
Pretty good
And
actor,
I
yeah.
love these characters. So I was encouraged by the trailers. You got a great cast here. And ultimately, I thought it was a great film. I enjoyed it. We'll get some opinions from some of these other guys here in a second. But if you're into, jungle type movies, being one with nature, the Tarzan mythos, though I've never really been too much into Tarzan or
neither
anything
have I.
like that. So while I don't think this is going to be a blockbuster, it's going to make a ton of money, I don't think that. I think it's a good watch. And if you're into that kind of stuff, you could go out into the theater and watch it, or watch this on HBO or television when it comes out. But I thought it was a great film. And what was interesting about it is that they didn't go for the origin story. A lot of these movies and reboots of there's been so many Tarzan movies. I haven't yet seen Johnny Rico yet. I want to see that Tarzan, right? Johnny Rico is Tarzan?
You do, I don't.
You don't want to see that? Poor Johnny Rico from Starship Troopers has become like a B actor now. But I liked him. I wanted him to be in more stuff. Anyways, so this is the latest Tarzan film, and it was all right. What was I gonna say about it?
Yeah, but basically, you on the right point. I like the way they kind of get some flashbacks about the origin, but not enough.
Yeah.
Not enough to just drown out the movie.
It's
Yeah,
not
just a little
oversaturated.
bit.
No.
Yeah.
So I like the way
like
you did it. It's well put.
Yeah, it's a sequel. What's interesting about it is it's not only is it the origin, but it's also the sequel.
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy? So this film doesn't start with Tarzan in there. It starts with Tarzan who, in some of the books, he has been civilized.
Yeah.
So this movie starts with he's civilized. He's Lord Greyjoy. That's Game of Thrones. And Greystone, and he has to regain his animalistic instincts to be able to rally the jungle together and sort of fight back against this king of Belgium and his right-hand man, who are basically out to exploit the Congo for their diamonds and their slave labor. So that's basically the story of the film. Del, how did you enjoy this thing? You got a great cast. You got. Did you feel the CGI was acceptable?
CGI was definitely acceptable. It wasn't on the same quality of
As
the Jungle Book,
yeah.
not even close,
No.
but it was believable enough. And
But it was right on that threshold.
It was
like,
right on the threshold.
Yeah, all right.
Honestly, I felt like the story was new enough and like different enough to do another Tarzan movie. And I'm like so thankful they did not copy the story, like you said, from every other Tarzan.
Yeah, we would have been like, I'm so fucking bored. I don't want it below average. But honestly, the story here is pretty unique. Christopher Waltz is just a delight to watch.
He's a great
Now
villain.
he has this tendency to do his Inglorious Bastards character, where he's always smiling. He has sort of the same idiosyncrasies, and I just love watching that, you know. So.
That's pretty good.
I think Samuel L. Jackson was still the best part of the entire
He knocked it out of the park.
He held the movie like up at that high standard the entire time. And every time the movie started to slowly go down, he brings Samuel L. Jackson back. It's like, all right.
Yeah, for sure. Samuel L. Jackson was the best part. I don't know what state he's from, but at one point, what drives the story forward and puts Tarzan back into action is his wife, Jane, gets kidnapped.
Yep.
And whereas normal movies, Rom shows up, the villain, and in a native village, captures her where she grew up. And as they're walking off, they're holding Tarzan prisoner as well, capturing him. Actually, they went to capture him, and let me just start all over. Okay. So what I like this film, what it does is, what propels Tarzan into the story and forward into action is that his wife, Jane, gets kidnapped. He also gets kidnapped as well.
Everyone
but instead, while they're staying at a village of friends of theirs that, they seem to be attached to because Jane grew up in this African native village here. And, but anyway, as they're shipping him off, you're like, okay, so they captured his wife. He's gonna break free and then he's gonna get it. But no, and there's nothing that these natives are gonna do about this because they've been overpowered. All of a sudden, people start dropping like flies on the bad guy side. And it turns out it's freaking Samuel L. Jackson. Die, motherfucker! Die, motherfucker! Die! No, he didn't say that, but he had dual pistols.
Minimum.
There's no yelling in this film.
He doesn't swear a lot.
But it was awesome. And so as they started dying, he rescues Tarzan, and so he has an integral role in this film. And I really appreciated the natives started picking up the guns of the dead soldiers.
And fighting.
So I noticed that a lot in this film, that something would happen, and in movies where I'd be like, well, why doesn't, here's one example. Why doesn't they take care of this or mention it or have lip service towards it? So at some point, they jump from a cliff in order to get there faster than the bad guys, to get to the diamonds faster than the bad guys or wherever they need to go. They need to jump off this huge cliff and just land in a bunch of trees on the way down. Number one, that's kind of ridiculous. Now, that was the one part of the movie I was like, okay, you done broke your legs and shit, and you just hit every branch on the way down. But fine, I'll buy it. So Tarzan can do it. I don't know about his African other tribes from the plains. I'm not sure about that. And definitely not Samuel L. Jackson.
That's my first thought. I was like, well, he's going to be left behind. There's no way he's going to jump.
And he jumped.
Like,
but it's a funny moment in the film, and it's played for laughs, and it's excellent. So there was enough humor in the film. But what I'm saying is, once he gets into that canopy area, and they're walking on the branches, very big branches, they're like, okay, how are we going to get to this train? We're going to swing, just like Tarzan swings. And I thought to myself, man, how do they know that those branches are strong enough to hold their weight? And just as I said that, Samuel Jackson grabs one, and he goes, and Tarzan's like, no.
Ready.
Right.
And he's like,
Tarzan
pulls it, and starts
like rips down.
He's like, jump on my back.
Yeah, and so it shows you that whoever wrote this was really thinking about the film. I really appreciate those types of films that
knowledge. From the logic.
He used knowledge and his knowledge of the jungle, and you tell that Tarzan kind of knows all this stuff. But let's go, Del. What did you feel? How did you feel about the Tarzan character himself? Right.
I thought he was really well casted because they talk about him being a legend and really powerful and stuff. And he's like 6'5", and he's taller than everyone else in the entire movie, except the main bad guy at the very end. And they made him so buff and so strong that you could believe, like, yeah, that guy could fight an ape.
Even his hands are
Yeah,
buff.
his hands are like huge.
They even put the small detail where his hand structure kind of changes.
It's a little
Because
different.
he ran on
He
all
kept
fours.
walking, so they put that detail in there.
I thought he was great, and honestly, like, I never once in the entire movie was like, that guy couldn't knock somebody out in one punch. That guy couldn't throw this guy through a wall.
Yeah. You buy it, and they do a nice little slow-mo. When he enters the jungle taking the shortcut, he obviously was raised by apes. That's the story of Tarzan, but eventually he has to leave the jungle and go off and become more civilized. So when he returns, he runs into the ape tribe that basically raised him, and he has to actually fight with his brother, and it's a great fight scene. He's explaining to Samuel's like, "What are you doing?" And he's explaining that this is a ritual, you know, that they has to go through this.
Yep.
And so it's literally a gorilla versus Tarzan, and they do this nice little slow motion thing, and the fight is great for somebody to take on a CGI character like that. It was very well done, and I'm not gonna spoil the end of the fight for you. You'll have to see it for yourself, but. On that level, you totally buy that Tarzan is up for the challenge, you know? But the only thing I would say is that, in my opinion, Tarzan might have been the weakest, mutest character of them all. Like, I was connecting more and relating with other characters a lot more than he was. Than him. But that may have been a part of the thing because he has this duality between being a part of the jungle and then also being human. And there were really nice touching moments in the film. Joe, did you remember any of the touching moments in the film?
One with Samuel Jackson when he was kneeling.
What do you mean? Oh, this is a really good joke. I don't want to spoil this.
So I'm gonna let you guys.
It has to.
All right, I got one.
You might want to see it just for this moment for Samuel L. Jackson.
I busted out laughing.
It kind of links into Samuel L. Jackson's character from the Hateful Eight. There's a little.
There was also another line in there just related to that same sort of time where they make fun of the snakes on the plane. Where he's like, I don't eat no ant. You find me a snake though, that's good eating. And I was like,
oh, I didn't even notice that, right? Because I'm sick of the motherfucking snake. So yeah, no. But the moment I was talking about is these elephants come through the jungle, and you know they make this connection, and there's not a word uttered here, and it just feels like it makes you be like, man. I wish I was like Tarzan, that I had this connection with nature, and it makes you be like, man, humanity needs to get closer.
Sucks.
Yeah, we need to get closer to nature. So it does have a little bit of that. It never reaches the heights of the Jungle Book. It never really tugs at your heartstrings. It's basically just an entertaining film from start to finish. Not, you know, it's not going to break any records or anything like that, but it was entertaining because it was well acted, visually put together well. They had this obsession with kind of close-ups on the eyes, and I actually like that because I love spaghetti westerns, and so this had a little bit of that. So I was fascinated with the cinema.
The body right here. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I was impressed a little bit with the cinematography. So yeah, Legend of Tarzan, wasn't really expecting to like it too much, and I ended up liking it. So let's go on to our final verdicts here, and we'll start with Delrith.
I'm giving it a 7, which is it's a good movie. You know, it's not like super revolutionary. It's not like something brand new we haven't seen. It's not like over the top crazy, but it's a high 7. It's a good casual movie to go and see.
Would you say that there's any weaknesses in the film?
The only weakness I could think of is that maybe, you know, they could have put more of an emphasis on Tarzan with the animal stuff and like actually controlling them, talking to them, things like that. Because he doesn't really like ever talk with them.
Directly
he just understands them.
Yeah.
And
I actually like that element in the film.
Though at the very end, he's like growling. He's like, "I'm sorry, what was that?"
He was just doing a mating call. Yeah, it's just a mating call, but he wasn't like having conversations or like,
right. I thought that would have crossed the threshold. They tried to take this film pretty seriously and turn it into an epic. So I kind of like that they didn't go and do that. Joe, what would you rate the film?
I'm going to give this an 8. I was very entertained. I like the action. I like the comedy. So 8.
Yeah, and honestly, I want to go 8 because of Samuel L. Jackson.
Oh, yeah.
But the reason why I'm going to go with a 7 out of 10 for this film is the one weakness I think would be the final climax.
Oh yeah.
So there was great battles, individuals. You've seen them in the trailer shot where Tarzan fights these powdered white African tribe. He has encounters elsewhere in the beginning of the film as a younger person. By the way, they do a CGI with younger versions of the characters, which was pretty well done. I could not tell the difference between them, or that it was Uncanny Valley. It was actually well done. But the climax, it was a little bit unrealistic or a little anticlimactic. The way they did it, you would think that these soldiers would still come and get the goddamn diamonds, but but they resolve it in a different way. Little unexpected, and I felt in the climax it was a little weak. So that's why it's a 7 out of 10.
It felt like the climax was rushed, and honestly, like
they didn't really know how to end it.
They didn't, and there was really no like epic confrontation. Like the ending just kind of it was really one-sided. Like there was the enemies never fought back.
Right.
They just kind of lost.
I never felt that Tarzan would get defeated by the humans.
Nope.
I did feel the tension when he was in the jungle, returning to the jungle,
Yeah.
and fighting animals. That was the stronger part of the film, which is why the climax is a little weak. But other than that, I'd say it's an entertaining film.
I'm going to probably nitpick a little bit,
Yeah.
but one of the things that kind of dropped it down for me is like the camera angle is just circling around. Did that bother anybody else?
I don't remember the
Like,
camera.
They did do a lot of circles.
Yeah. Like, they were trying to make a plan. I was like, all right, we need to go through this, this, and this. And he's talking to Samuel Jackson's character, and the camera just spinning around for some odd reason.
Yeah,
Keeps going in
There was a
circles.
lot of
I did not
spinning,
see that.
but it didn't
Why?
bother me that much.
There's no point. It's still like
Interesting.
on a wide angle or something.
Yeah, so you got a little too creative. So he's doing close up
it's
on
like,
the eyes and doing
circle,
this.
Circle.
Well, yeah. All right, cool. So 7 out of 10 for Legend of Tarzan. It might be worth your time. If you're into these types of films, go out and see it. If not, it's not going to convince you that Tarzan is this epic franchise that we need to get involved with. I'm not really wanting a sequel.
Not really, no.
Yeah, but I thought it was a good time. All right, guys. Well, that's it for this one, and we'll see you on the next Angry Joe Show. Bye, guys.